Hey y'all, finally got a topic I want to talk about. I mean, really, there's a million topics I want to talk about, but I gotta talk about it, as I'm feeling the conversation, if that makes sense. So I got the idea for this video from someone that commented on my last video, or at least my last, I guess, discussion video, or whatever you want to call it. Here it is. So the key thing I want to point out here is how he mentions like that Ben and Matt are like too old for the newer generation, and that was more or less what sparked me wanting to talk about this because I was kind of talking about it in the other video in the terms of like not being able to relate to the audience that they're trying to relate to. And I responded with this, and I just really wanted to talk about, my end of it, I guess. Like, I'm just doing this because I want to, but like maybe, miraculously, if one of their people sees a video like this, they can, I'm just trying to get some transparency for them because again, like I love the Daily Wire. They're one of the most important companies on the planet right now, and I'm not, big company or whatever, but like I believe in their values and like, they're fighting the good fight and all that stuff. But like there are some things like this topic that we're talking about that really they lack in, and I'm not about catering to a particular audience if that's not who they want to cater to. Like that's completely fine. But as someone that agrees with what they do and all that stuff, I think it's important because I'm not saying you have to like cater to everything I in particular in particularly do, but I don't know. It's I think it's a problem, honestly. I just want to start off by saying the vast majority of young dudes are playing video games. So in terms like I'll just speak about it from a business side. Like so in terms of business, you're just alienating a bunch of your like potential, supporters, viewers or whatever by not taking it seriously. And this is the same kind of mentality that like I grew up with this kind of mentality. My mom wasn't so anal about it, but she didn't like video games and whatnot. I grew up around people that, older people that were like, oh, video games are a waste of time and, oh, you should just get a job. Well, I'm an adult now. I spend the majority of my life playing video games, but I also work. I also am fully independent. I have a car. I have a roof over my head. Like, so I want to get that out of the way. You can be a very productive person and love to play video games. So let's get that out of the way. Second of all, I don't want to make this like an advocacy video for video games or anything, but I'm one of the people that argues that video games are actually one of the best things ever made. And just like anything else, too much video games is bad and all this stuff. But what I want to get at is like, okay, and I mentioned in the comment that they've had Ben play like Minecraft. Like I think within the last month they made a video or something. I remember watching it. They made a couple where he's like playing Minecraft and he's like not taking it seriously and he's just like and I said in the comment like it's kind of funny, it's funny and I'm not calling Ben old, but it's like watching an old man try to do something that the kids are doing. It's like, oh haha, he doesn't know what he's doing or that kind of thing. But you know, when I watch that and I said in the comment, it just makes like it's funny, but it makes me cringe at the same time because I'm just like, okay, listen, like I totally get, if you don't like something, you don't like it, and trying to engage with something you don't like is just like, oh my god, like it would be like if someone brought rap music to me, I'd be like, dude, this is fucking stupid. Like, why am I, you know what I mean? So like, I totally get that, but I mean, I don't want to explain my whole life outlook on stuff like this, but I think there are good things in the world and there are bad things in the world, and video games are not one of the bad things. They're actually one of the good things, or can potentially be one of the good things. They're kind of, that's a huge topic, but video games are very, if used correctly, they're an extremely positive force. You can convey ideas in video games and get people to really like engage with those ideas and really feel those ideas. I mean, granted, family is more important for this kind of thing, but like I'm not trying to say that video games like reinforce the ideas you already have, but there are just concepts and things that you can think about on a complex level in video games that you might not otherwise have thought about. Like I get it, video games are a lot like anime like in the early 90s. Because I grew up with that as well. It's like anime, like, why are you watching that? What are you, fucking weird? Like, that's weird stuff, you know? It's like, okay, yeah, on this, when you see the surface, it's that classic saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, a lot of, like, I'm not trying to say, there's a lot of fucking weird shit in anime, okay? But anime and this kind of falls in the same topic because, like, you know, I think it was Michael Knowles or Matt Walsh, I cannot remember. He was getting into a spat with the Quartering, which is somebody I watched too, and he, you know, was, and I don't want to take him out of context, but I don't know, really know how Twitter works, to be honest, and like, because I don't use Twitter, and like he was basically saying that, like, you know, oh, you know, if you watch anime, like, you know, I don't want to misrepresent what he said because I can't remember, but he basically said like anime's bad, and I'm just like, no, dude, like, there are, this is the stuff. It's just so hypocritical to me because, you know, Ben Shapiro, he's like a huge TV buff. He watches movies, he watches like all these shows, and, like, you know, I'm sure Matt Walsh does too, and all these other people. And I'm just like, this is the same shit my mom used to do too. And, you know, I'm talking about it personally because it's just like my mom would watch these like raunchy, like, she loved these like raunchy 80s comedies and, like, you know, TV shows and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, why is it okay for you to watch that stuff and think it's good, and then you shit on video games and anime for some reason? And I actually sat my mom down once and tried to get her to watch Death Note, and like, it it was one of the most frustrating experiences in my whole life because I could tell she was just actively like trying not to like it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry, like, obviously this is my opinion, but like, if you don't like Death Note, I really want to know why, because like, I think you everybody could find something they like about that show. That is like one of the most, like, you can't not enjoy just watching it. Like, it anyway, but like, and I'm just like, this is the same kind of, you know, feeling I get when I see this stuff from the Daily Wire. And it's not just the Daily Wire. I'm just talking about them because, like, I think it's good to criticize people you respect and whatnot. But, you know, it's that same thing where you're just like, well, I don't play video games, so video games are dumb, or, oh, anime is weird because I saw this, you know, I see all these, like, you know, thumbnails on YouTube of weird anime shit. Like, yes, no, and that's not, and again, like, I just, this is why I kept saying in the other video, and I've said in other videos, where I'm just like, they need to just get somebody that engages with this stuff and can put not put the ideas, like, they just, because these ideas that they're preaching are in video games, they're in anime. They used to be a lot more back then. Like, when see this, you know, I could rant about how video games are today and whatnot, but like, video games back then, whether you want to admit it or not, they were made by people, not always, but they were made by a lot of people that, you know, grew up with Judeo-religious values, Christian values. And these were the kinds of people that were making the games. Those were the nerds. The nerds are not those people anymore. And it's because their parents, people like the people at Daily Wire, were just, for whatever reason, kept shunning those young kids, those entrepreneurs, whatever you want to say. Like, you know, I guess this is a generalized statement or whatever, but like, those people like me, that I was the one growing up playing those games, and all the people back then that I knew were playing games were Judeo-Christian value people. They were these nerdy people. They weren't, you know, video games weren't you were a fucking nerd if you played video games back then, and I was one of the nerds. Okay, you know, I view this a lot, like, you know, because I was talking about my mom earlier. It's like, you know, I view this a lot as if I were a parent, because I try to recognize this. You know, if I had a daughter and my daughter liked to do ballerina or fucking whatever, you know, I'd be like seriously, I'd be like, oh my God, that's fucking lame. Like, why do you like that? Like, truly, I'm not into that at all. But I would, as a parent, I would try very, very hard to support what she wanted to do. If that's, you know, well, you know, if it was something else, if she wanted to be like a prostitute, I'd be like, nah, you're disowned. But anyway, now, but it's like, from the Daily Wire, as a strictly as a business. I don't want to talk about feelings or, you know, personal bias or nothing, but it's just strictly as a business. You know, why am I forgetting the dude's name? Is it Matt Walsh? Is he the owner? I don't know. I'm on the spot right now. The owner of the company, you know, he's business. He's business oriented. All I'm trying to tell you is that, like, you know, I'm not a businessman, but you are alienating a shit ton of people. If you had, like, just for an example, like, if you had Ben Shapiro be like, oh yeah, Minecraft, this is a cool game. Like, I can see why this is popular, or, you know, whatever. And it's just like, if if you had a kid or a young guy that's watching that, like, hey, I like Minecraft and this dude likes it, so let's watch him. And then throughout time, you're like, oh, I like this, like he's good at the game or he likes the game, and oh, I'll talk about my stuff. Like that's how I treat my channel. I'm not trying to indoctrinate people with my channel, but my channel is me. So if people watch my channel, they're gonna see my perspective on things, and through time, if they like my channel, I mean, really, I guess you could say it's like bias reinforcement or whatever, but like it's not, it's just like I want you to see me personally. Like, if I disagree with the Daily Wire, even though I agree with them, I want you to see why. Or oh, I disagree with leftists, or oh, I disagree with rightists. I want you to see my perspective, and then not just say, oh, well, if you believe this, then there's, I don't want it to be forced. I just want to talk about things, and you see me as a person. But like on a personal level for Ben and all these people, like I totally get it. It's like, they had Brett Cooper do the same thing. Like she was playing Call of Duty or something, and as a person that's been playing Call of Duty for 16 years, clearly I'm not going to enjoy watching Brett Cooper play Call of Duty, but it's so fucking cringe, dude. You can't you can't do that, okay? Like it's so cringe. It's like I've just for me personally, okay, girls do not play fucking video games. Okay, I play, and that's a generalized statement on purpose. Like I play with lots of girls on Call of Duty. They're pretty good. They're fine, okay? But girls in general do not play games, okay? And it's just cringe to see, like, you have girls out there that are like, oh yeah, I play video games. I take pictures with Xbox controllers even though I have a PS3 in the background. Like, they can't even beat the first level on Mario 1. Or, it's just like it's funny on its face, but what it did to me as a viewer of Brett Cooper and Ben Shapiro when they're doing this, I'm like, wow, why am I taking these dudes seriously? They're taking something that, and like their editor, they're see that's one of the best things they've done. Let me say that their editor that does their shorts and the video game episodes of Ben Shapiro and the whoever the dude is in the background or whoever's in the background, you can tell they hired them because they're into meme culture, they're into video game culture, and they all I'm saying is they need more of that. They need to put him, whoever that editor is, they need to have him play these games and talk about stuff and do this. And I do not want you to be like, oh yeah, I'm playing Minecraft and let's talk about Jesus and oh, the Ten Commandments. Like I don't want to keep using my channel as an example, but like that's what I do. Like one of my fucking Fallout 4 episodes I just posted today, I think, or was it? It was yesterday. I literally just like I'll be playing the game and then someone in my chat will just say something and I'll just start talking about it. And if I start talking about Jesus, then I do. Like I was literally talking about the Ten Commandments and like how to be successful in life, and it wasn't. It's organic. It's not forced. Like when I make videos and stream and play games, like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play this game and I'm gonna start talking about Jesus today. That's do not do that. That's cringe and it's forced, and no, you're gonna turn people off doing that. So kind of going back to what I was trying to explain earlier is that when I was growing up, obviously I played video games. I've been playing video games my whole life, and I was talking about how your parents really should be teaching you these values, but video games can I'm not saying video games taught me my values, but video games formed me as a person. And obviously you can say that about anything you do. Like if you work on cars, obviously you're going to be formed around there. But the difference between like I don't obviously I'm biased here, but like the thing with video games is like I said before, there are so many different ideas presented in so many different ways within video games that it's a whole thing in and of itself. It's like you have books and you have, and see that's the thing, like I don't like reading books, but like I've read a couple books that I like, but it's just for me it's like okay, I could literally play that book, see that book, hear that book, and interact with that book. You know what I'm saying? Video games are just amazing books. That's really what they are. Okay, I mean, again, I could talk about the industry and how it's not really like that nowadays, but it used to be. Okay, video games are a very, very, very useful tool and also just a great form of entertainment. That's the beauty of video games. Make them entertainment first and a tool second. A tool to present ideas, I mean, again, like make the game fun and something that people want to play. And then, hey, it's like also, hey, this game made my hand-eye coordination better, or hey, this game taught me a cool idea, or hey, I didn't see it this way before, or oh, it's there's so many things. Like video games are amazing, and I cannot advocate them for them enough. But again, just like anything else, they're bad if you play them too much and whatever. I'm ranting and I'm all over the place as I usually am, but it's just video games are literally the biggest entertainment industry in the world, and the Daily Wire refuses to take them seriously. It's so aggravating because again, it goes back to what I was saying where, Ben will watch all these, like he talks about it. He's a huge movie buff and he keeps up with the culture in terms of movies and stuff. That's fantastic. If Ben wants to do that, let him do that. And then have truly, I only watch Ben Shapiro and Brett Cooper. I've watched a little Michael Knowles. I watch Jordan Peterson every once in a while, all them. But like, I only know them super well. You know what I mean? So like, let Michael Knowles do the books, or if he, or what I'm saying, just like take a person that actually interacts with what you're trying to talk about and have them talk about it. Okay? Because again, and yes, you could say I'm a minority. Like I'm a hardcore gamer, and you could say, oh well, hardcore gamers aren't the majority of people. Well, okay, fine, but then take. I mean, I wouldn't like to see it, but you could take a casual gamer, a gamer, or an above average gamer. Don't take someone that plays video games like, oh yeah, I play them 2 hours every day, or not every day, like after work every once in a while. Like, no, no, no. I mean, like, like you could say this because cringes too, but like, yeah, I don't know why people think it is because it's whatever. But like I'm a gamer, as in the fact that like I play video games. That is my hobby. That is what I do. It's a very easy describing factor. It's like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a gamer. I play games. Like that's what I do. It's like same. It's the same thing where it's like, oh yeah, I'm a movie buff. I like to watch movies and review them. And oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a reader. I don't know why people single out gamer. Like, oh, that's cringe. Why would you call yourself a gamer? It's like a joke on the internet. But like, it's have someone that would be like, oh yeah, I'm a gamer. Like I know about games. I've played them for years. That's my hobby. It's what I do. Not like, oh yeah, I play video games. I play an hour after work, and I'm talking like a female, but like, just don't take people that can barely, play games. Have them be competent at least, because for someone like me and like, I don't know, this is just obviously all my opinion. I'm just saying like this is what I would like to see, and it's frustrating as hell when you take something that I know about and just honestly demean it and belittle it and do not show it to its full potential. I look at this the same way as I look at Ben. He well, I mean he's a Jew and I guess you would say a Christian. Like I don't I mean I'm definitely not a Jew. So, it's what I'm trying to say is that like he is an expert in Judeo-Christian values and Judaism and whatever. Like I'll let him talk about that. I can put my 2 cents in, but that's how I come about it. Like I don't go around saying like, oh yes, in the Bible it says this, and because I am not an expert in that, so I will say what I know, but I will let someone like Ben take the stage and talk about that kind of stuff. But when it comes to video games, I like, no, 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 I know what I'm talking about here. It's all about being an expert not about being an expert, but just knowing what you're talking about. That's the thing. Like when there's nothing more infuriating for me personally. It's like when I'm listening to somebody, I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and that's exactly the mentality I have. And you might say like, oh, dude, you're taking it too seriously. Like, oh, they're just playing games and being funny. Like, but hopefully I've explained why I think it's a problem. It's uh, just purely from business. It's a bad business move. Okay, that's how I'm looking at it. But obviously I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a business major, or whatever. I don't own a million zillion dollar company, whatever. Just really, at the end of the day, you go on Twitch, you go on YouTube now, and all these other sites. You look at the popular streamers that young people are watching and interacting with and agreeing with on values and opinions and stuff. You see the kinds of people that are out there. Okay, that's all I'm saying. The popular people out there are not like the Daily Wire, and they have a huge, huge influence on young people. Okay? This is why people on the right have lost the culture battle. They had the parents like mine that grew up saying, "Oh, video games are dumb," and "Why are you playing video games?" And look at where we're at now. You failed to see the value in culture, and this is where we're at. That's truly what I'm trying to say. And again, like, you know, it's gross to me personally that I'm even talking about it like this. But as a kid, I didn't really think about it, and I don't want video games to be a political tool. I want video games to be fun, like they were back in the day. Okay, but the world's different now. Back in the day, we all agreed on values and all this stuff, but we don't anymore. Okay, and I do not want video games to be used as a political tool. And that's why I keep saying just play video games. Play good video games. Have someone that knows what they're talking about, like me, that has values that you want to promote. Like, I'm not saying they need to hire some guy that knows about video games that they don't agree with at all. Like, no, hire someone that you have the values of them, and you want them to preach those values, not preach those values, just subtly instill, like the left has done through these years with movies, with video games, with TV shows. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. Don't cram it down people's throats. Just say like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. I play video games, and just don't make it cringe. Okay. Hopefully I've made my point clear. That's really what I wanted to talk about today. Um, I don't know. It's just infuriating because for all the things I've said, it's just video games need to be taken seriously. Just I truly don't understand why books are taken seriously, why movies are taken seriously, why music is taken seriously, but not video games. Still to this day, I do not understand why. Video games are the biggest entertainment industry in the world. In the world, okay? From business, like, you just clearly there's something there, right? Like, clearly there's something there. And these I don't want to. I'm saying this as a joke, but these old white guys, they just don't understand. It's so fucking infuriating because I get that like childhood PTSD of like, oh my god, these fucking adults don't even understand why I like video games, and they hate me because I like video games. And it's just like, there's not. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully I'm gonna watch this back, and hopefully I don't have anything extra I want to talk about. Otherwise, I'm gonna cut this out. Anyway, hopefully I made my point clear as mud. The code you're seeing on the screen, I mean, you can see it, but I messed up in the last video and I didn't even say what it was. That code is for Coffee Brand Coffee. It's fantastic coffee. So like, I have a creator code, and basically you just save money when you order from that site. So if you use that code, you can save, I think it's 5%. Um, Dude, like, their coffee's amazing, and the whole point behind their company is that they literally just sell coffee. Like, it's called Coffee Brand Coffee because it's just like, yeah, we make coffee and it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. And like, they don't do politics, they don't do any of this bullshit, they don't cram ideas down your throat. It's just good ass coffee. Try the dark blend. That one I have right here is actually freaking fantastic. Their blueberry cobbler is god tier. Oh my god! Like, honestly, I was just like, because I like more dark, like, bitter coffees, but like, I was like blueberry cobbler, what? And like, I got some from my mom, and she's like, oh my god, this is like the best thing ever. And I tried some. I'm like, man, this is little girl shit. Oh my god! But yeah. Anyway, no, it's really good. So yeah, I get like a kickback. I've never actually sold any. I mean, I sold some to my family and stuff, but like, it's not. I don't take it that seriously. It's just like, really, I just want people to try that coffee because it's like really good. But yeah, I mean, like, I'll get paid for like every bag or whatever I sell. But it's just something I want to do. I really just want to support that company because I agree. Like, companies just need to sell products and shut the fuck up, and that's what that company does. So I want to support that and help them sell and make a little bit of money on the side if I can, which isn't really important. But yeah, that's what the code's for, and I'll see y'all later.